Today, I want to share something very personal with you. It's a story about why routines became absolutely essential to me and how they literally saved my mental and physical health during some of the most challenging moments in my life. I'll tell you everything after the intro. Welcome to the Linguamind English podcast. I'm Orsi, and I help motivated professionals speak English with calm and confidence, even in high pressure situations, using language tools, confidence building exercises, and visualizations. If you're tired of letting language anxiety hold you back from the career you deserve, you're in the right place. Let me take you back about 17 years ago when I was 20 years old. Many of you know that I spent a year in Finland with the Erasmus program. If you are not familiar with Erasmus, it's a European student exchange program that allows university students to study abroad. And let me tell you, I absolutely loved Finland. I loved everything about it: the culture, the people, the incredible sense of security. And what do I mean by security? In Finland, you could literally leave your bag on a chair in a cafe and no one would touch it. You didn't have to worry about someone stealing your stuff. It was amazing. But then came the day when I had to return home to Hungary. Now, don't get me wrong, I like my country, I love my country. But going back was incredibly difficult for several reasons. One big reason was that the contrast was huge between the two countries. And while Hungary isn't unsafe, it was just different. And because I was already in a vulnerable state of mind, this transition hit me really hard. I started having what I can only describe as paranoid thoughts. I was constantly worried that someone would mug me on the street or break into our house. I was anxious all the time, and I mean all the time. I couldn't even sleep. It was really exhausting. And this anxiety was taking a serious toll on my mental health. And I wasn't motivated to do anything. I was so tired. And I felt completely lost. Then something happened that changed everything. I went to a party with my friends. Actually, one friend in particular, who's still my friend today. She might even be listening to this episode. And she said to me, "Hey, I'm going to these kickboxing classes. Would you like to join? I think it would be really good for you." I knew nothing about kickboxing or any martial arts, but I thought, what do I have to lose at this point? So I decided to give it a try. And I never looked back. It was exactly what I needed. Having something to do 3 times a week gave structure to my week. It created a routine in my life when everything felt chaotic. Here's what's amazing about martial arts. And if you do any kind of martial arts, you will know what I mean. It completely switches off your mind. You can't think about your worries or anxiety when you're focusing on learning techniques and staying present in the moment. It teaches you discipline and you practice at home to get better. It really becomes a way of life. Even kickboxing, which isn't particularly spiritual compared to other martial arts, gave me incredible structure and it improved my self esteem. This routine was absolutely amazing for both my physical and mental health. Around the same time, maybe a couple of months later, Something else incredible entered my life. My grandmother, who is an incredibly spiritual woman, introduced me to meditation. She had been doing yoga for about 40 years then, and she invited me to join her for a mental training course. She has already done that course, but she wanted to repeat it with me. And we did it together, and I learned meditation techniques and visualization techniques that could bring you to a very relaxed state of mind. And here's the thing: when you're in this relaxed state, your brain works better. You can learn better. You can do everything better. Once you make these practices a routine and you start seeing the improvement, it's just amazing. Meditation became a daily routine for me. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that I've done some kind of meditation or visualization practice every single day since then. So, these two routines together, martial arts and meditation, really, really changed my attitude toward life. I had a routine to follow. I knew what to do each day. It was incredible. I started taking my life seriously for the first time. I began to feel that I was responsible for my own actions, and as a result, I started taking action. And you know what? That's actually when I started learning languages seriously. Before establishing these routines, I wasn't exceptionally good at languages. But when you are in this relaxed state of mind, you understand connections much better. You're not afraid, you are not anxious. You're just more receptive to everything. I used to be pretty anxious in college, especially before exams. But once I had my calm down routines, I became more confident. When I had to speak at an exam or give a presentation, I would just do my meditation practice and visualization practice beforehand, and everything went much better. Now, I have to be honest with you, these routines are not for everyone. Over the years, many people have criticized me for being so committed to my routines. Some people think these habits seem very rigid. They don't understand why I'm doing certain things or why I'm so strict about my physical and mental health routines. They make comments like, "Why are you so inflexible?" or "Why don't you drink as much alcohol anymore? You have changed." Because, yes, you do change when you prioritize your health and well being. But honestly, it's really worth it. And here's the thing about routines: they become automatic. It's like a habit. You don't even have to think about going to your workout or meditation anymore because you want to do it. The routine becomes part of who you are, and that's not a bad thing. I know there are many spontaneous people who might say, "Oh my God, but then there's nothing spontaneous in your life." But that's not true at all. It's just that I have discipline that anyone can develop. The third time I really benefited from my routines was during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the whole world shut down and we went from having busy, active lives to being confined in our homes. This was incredibly difficult for many people. I have many friends who, how can I say this nicely, really struggled during this time. It took a serious toll on their mental health and they felt terrible. For me, I think the only reason I could survive this period mentally and physically was because of the routines I had. I suddenly had a lot of time on my hands because I couldn't work. not just because of COVID, but I also had to wait for my work permit in the US. So I created a daily checklist with 5 things that I did. They were somewhat flexible, but they were non negotiable items. The first was physical training, the second was meditation, the third was language learning, and I had prepared a detailed learning path for myself. I knew exactly what I was going to do for Spanish, English, and German every day because these were the 3 languages I was either perfecting or learning at that time. Now I want to make something clear. Being a person of habits and routines doesn't mean that I'm not flexible about learning new things. I learn new things all the time and I try new experiences as well. The point is that routines can really help you when you're lost, when you have problems, when you don't know what to do. They provide foundation of stability that allows you to be more flexible and creative in other areas of your life. Sometimes you just need someone who takes you to that first class, who helps you get started. For me, that was my friend who invited me to kickboxing. And then it was my grandmother who introduced me to meditation. These people didn't just give me advice, they actually took action with me. They showed up and helped me begin. So, this brings me to why I'm sharing this story with you today. I hope I can be that person for you in your language learning journey. If you think you want to make English learning a habit in your life, a positive, life changing routine, I'm here to help you. Learning English doesn't have to be stressful or anxiety provoking. Just like my meditation and martial arts practices, it can become a routine that brings structure, confidence, and growth to your life. When you approach English learning with the right mindset and consistently practice daily, it becomes part of who you are. You stop fighting against it and start flowing with it. So, here's what I want you to remember from today's episode. Routines are not restrictions, they are foundations for your freedom. They are not rigid rules that limit you, they are supportive structures that help you become the best version of yourself. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, major life transitions, or simply wanting to improve your English, having a consistent daily routine can be absolutely transformative. And I have a gift for you. You can download my English Panic Mode Off routine that you can use anytime you feel anxious before you need to speak English. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It was really personal, and I truly appreciate you listening to it till the end. If this story resonated with you on any level, I would love to hear about it. Feel free to leave a comment below and I will answer. And remember, if you're ready to make English learning a positive routine in your life, I'm right here to support you on that journey. Thank you very much. That was it for today. Until next time, keep practicing, keep growing, and remember, you've got this.